Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us in Home Gardening 480. Just want to give you guys an update. We were gone for 2 weeks on a vacation and came back, and we saw the broccoli with a bunch of flowers and bees everywhere. So we have some maintenance to do on the garden, and we're going to go ahead and explain to you what we're going to do. But we like to see the growth, the difference when we were gone, and lots of tomatoes, and also you can see on the background there the peas are growing, and also they're flowering there, so which is good to see. So in 2 weeks we saw a lot of progress in all of this in the garden, and so we just want to go ahead and give you a heads up as to what we're going to do.
Okay.
So what are we going to do? You can take it from here.
I was just going to pick up the tomatoes that are red or orange. They'll continue to ripen. If they're a little bit turning yellow, then they're getting ready. We might have a light frost here in a couple days. We'll see. But I was just going to come through and pick up some produce, and I was thinking about just harvesting one of these heads of lettuce to make a big salad. So the broccolini plant just shot up and flowered on us, and now the bees are having a good feast here. I think I'm going to leave the flowers. I'm going to clip any lower flowerets, but I'm going to leave these flowers for the bees. And we also have this head on this other head of the broccoli that just shot up and is really loose, so I'll leave that to flower, but I'll trim any other smaller ones and we'll eat those. We'll leave these for the bees to have. I just want to point out we've got these smaller broccoli plants that we had started from seed, and they're already pulling out little heads. I think it's because it's been pretty cold. They're shooting up some heads to try to get to seed, which is not necessarily what I wanted, but it's, the plant is programmed to do what it's going to do. So we've got that going on here. You can see the leaves on most of these have turned kind of a dark green purple color. That's okay, and that's basically from the cold and stuff too. These upper ones are still pretty green, but the temperature changes have caused a lot of that. So this is what a broccoli plant looks like when you don't trim the heads. They start to develop all these offshoot heads from all the other branches, so you don't have to take just only one head from your broccoli. You can get a bunch of little heads. So multiple harvests. You can also eat the leaves. So the entire broccoli plant is edible. Okay.
All right.
So I'm just going to pick up the rest of these tomatoes. If they're starting to turn, I'm going to just pluck them off. So like this little one is starting to turn. So I'm just going to get that. And this is the Husky Red Cherry variety, so they're all cherry-sized little tomatoes. And you can pick them green, but you want to wait till they get a little color on them. But like I said, if they're starting to turn, I want to bring them inside. I don't want to leave them out forever. I do notice that when I've grown tomatoes before, if you leave them out until they're red, the birds start to peck at them, and then it's hard to get a tomato that's not got a hole in it. So it's always a strategy. You can pick it a little early before the birds recognize that it's ripe. But we've got a good set of tomatoes growing over here on these plants here too, and then a nice good size slicing one developing over here on this last tomato here. But you can see this one had a little split on this. That'll be okay. One other little split there. I'll just pull that one off. That one's pretty deformed. But for the most part, they're doing okay. And these ones, this big one is starting to turn yellow a bit, so hopefully if it doesn't freeze we'll be able to get that tomato to turn red on the plant. But we can always bring it into the house. Get it off the plant and bring it in. So I've trimmed the little branches off of these before, but you can see the plant is starting to sprout out some new ones. So, you know, there's a possibility of overwintering this plant. We'll see. We'll see what the frost does for us, if it's a hard frost or not. I want to make sure is there anything under here that needs to be picked? Oh, there's one right down there. Alright, so I'm going to try one of the red tomatoes. I think I'll eat all of them. They're good.
They're good,
sweet.
Yeah, they're sweet. So what are
you know when you have a sweet tomato and you're just like, I'll just keep just eating it. That's what
like
that is.
Like eating Oreos. You can't have just one.
Yeah. They're nice. No, I was thinking I was gonna clip this one right here.
Clip that one out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the whole thing because I want to do a big salad. So come down here right at the base. So I'm gonna pull off these extra little leaves. So that's pretty much what it's like when you buy it from the grocery store. It's just trimmed off at the bottom, and they give you the whole plant.
That's a good size.
Yeah. So what we do is any leaves that have any like brown or insect damage or whatever, we'll just trim it with some scissors. But I'm gonna take this in the house. I'm gonna wash it up really good and put in my salad spinner, wash it up, make sure there's no little extra protein components on there.
Yeah, I know.
And then we'll make us a little nice Caesar salad to go with our dinner.
Perfect.
So, okay. I brought a bigger bowl because this won't even fit it. Look, here's the size of the bowl. It's, I think, a 3-quart bowl. And that's the size of the head.
Yeah.
So, it's basically bigger than that bowl.
Yeah.
So, I just want to point out, since we're right here by the herbs, this cilantro is doing fabulous. Doing very well. Just growing great.
Did you cut something yesterday?
No.
Did you come to the garden and cut something?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
So, starting to get my chives growing back up here. I want to start another little set of chives here. But I've got lots of onions, so that's maybe debatable. Maybe we don't need it. This was the parsley that I had in the big pot. But you can see all the other little parsleys that we've planted from seed, that we started from seed, are progressing pretty well. Yeah, they're looking
good, actually.
I'm really pleased with that. The thyme that we transplanted, you can see the leaves have turned kind of purple and they're starting to get to be some new growth there. I think that's just because of the colder temperatures. But the rosemary, remember we trimmed it?
Yes.
The tips are now growing back and doing so very well. The oregano did well in the transplanting. Basil has been struggling because basil is a summer warm season plant. It's kind of just been struggling along here. I'm going to let it continue to struggle, and we'll definitely be doing some more basil here in our next seed starting batch. Over here, the sage that we transplanted is doing very well. You can see this couple of little plants doing really good. Got one here that's doing good. And then the thyme that we started from seed is also starting to pick up as well. So hopefully as the days get longer, we're gonna see a lot more growth here. So I didn't videotape it, but a couple nights before we left for a little trip, I had come out and gotten some of the bunching onions for us to eat with some fried rice that I was making. That was really good, and they've actually gotten a lot bigger. Let me show you. So those little bunching onions that we transplanted when they were smaller than this one here is maybe 3 inches tall, are now these good looking green onions. And I tried to, when I was harvesting the onions for that we were going to eat, I tried to take the ones that the cabbage leaves were kind of covering so that it would be beneficial to the onions that were left, and then also that there wouldn't be any big onions left under the cabbage leaves. So you can see there's one there that's not really getting a lot of sun because this big cabbage leaf is covering it up. So when I came out to harvest, I had taken the onions that were kind of set to be covered by these leaves, and you can see I've taken a few out there and there. But I'll have to come through again and pick up some bunching onions. These are all the plant seeds that we started. I want to show you the spinach real quick too. So till about halfway, about right here, about right here, all of that back, this back to the end to the right there, that was started from seed indoors. And then there's some dog poop that needs to be taken out. But these smaller ones are ones that Osmond planted from seed, and these are actually really good. This variety is actually, I think, called baby something, or maybe it's just called baby. I don't remember. I have to look at the label. But this variety is specifically for harvesting the baby spinach. So you come through and get a few leaves here and there, and you can continue to harvest that. And then the leeks are starting to grow up, so hopefully maybe in a few months we'll have bigger leeks. And I just want to show you, these are the turnips that I planted next to the peas, and they have just taken off in the past 2 weeks while we've been out of town. They're a bit thick, so I mean, it's not going to hurt to pull one or two of them up, but these are purple top turnips. And I want to pull one just to show you what they're looking like these days. Well, that's a bit small, but you can see that's the edge where the turnip starts to form, and you can see it's already looking purple right here. Yep, and then just a little bit more and that'll swell into a little bulb like a turnip. And then the leaves are also edible. But kind of spicy. But in the South they cook these up with like some bacon and sausage and wilt them in the skillet. So let me show you over here. I planted rutabagas. I don't know if you watched our other video, but I planted rutabagas in 2 rows, and then I put radishes in the middle. Oh, there's a weed. I'm going to pull that out while I'm here. But I planted radishes right in the middle. So here we've got a radish. That's one's maybe a nickel size radish. We can put those in our salad, or we can eat them regular. They're, you know, the smaller they are, the less spicy the flavor. But those are radishes. Those are actually ready for harvesting. So yep.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yep. And they're pretty much all ready right now, so we could pull them all if we wanted to, but I'll just take a few here and there. Oh, this one's a
Wow.
bit bigger.
Good size.
Whoops. Hold on, let me lay them out for you. There's that first one. There's the second one I pulled up. And this is the one I just pulled up, the last one. Much darker here. But this is perfect size for turnip. A lot of people will wait until they're bigger, but honestly I like them smaller. They don't get so overly spicy flavor. And then these little plants to the side, these are the rutabagas, and they look very similar to the turnips because they're in that same family.
Okay.
And then the peas, these peas are, I forget the name of the variety. I want to say it's Easy Peasy. This variety, they have so many tendrils. Actually, the label says you don't have to stake them, that if you plant them in a row, they'll just grow up together. But just look at how many tendrils are on this one. But they're doing really good. Let's look at these other peas over here.
I want to point something out here when it comes to the carrots. This side right here that you see here is the side that we thin out. When they first started to spring out, we came out here and then we thinned them out because there were a lot of them. But this side, we never thinned them out. You can see them here, that row in the center there. That right there, we haven't done anything. So Sonia the other day came and she pulled out
Here, I'll show you.
one from here and then one from here, and we can see the difference. Why they say you should thin them out and not let them just bunch grow together, and you'll see the difference. And we're gonna go ahead and show you that right now.
All right, so I'm gonna pick. I thinned these a while back, but I'm gonna pick one of them and essentially thin it a little bit more here. But I'm just picking one that's goodish size. Just trying to get the leaves up for him. There we go. Check it out. We've got baby carrots.
So
That is amazing.
this is from the size that we thin out.
Well, we thinned them when they were much smaller. So this is the side that we had thinned, yes.
Right. So
And this was
now we're gonna go to the side that we haven't touched.
Okay, so I'm looking for one that's kind of tall, big, maybe similar to this one that I just pulled. These are really close together. There's probably, they say carrots should be spaced every, 1 to 3 inches. Like right here, here's a good example. Can you zoom in here? Are you able to see that? There's like 4 carrot plants right next to each other, literally right next to each other. And there's like 3 there, but you see, they're so close together. I'm just going to pull this whole little clump here and I'm going to show you. Look, there was 3 that I pulled up. They're all right next to each other. I'm not saying this is the cause of everything. I'm just saying, with competition for light, because let me just show you this. This is 3, and this is 1. So this one is already so much taller than those ones, and more leaves. It's getting more light. It's getting more energy than these ones that are just together. So I'm going to have to come through and either snip off the tops every couple inches here to thin them out, or pull some out. But
I would say pull them out.
yeah, that's the baby carrot from the outer part. This is the ones that we did not thin. They're obviously carrots, but they're still very thin. So I'm really just super happy that these are just progressing so well. And even these may be a little too close together, but again, the plants are getting all their energy from the light. They're taking all the building blocks, the raw ingredients in the soil, and that water that we're adding, and we just made a conducive environment. We put them in a good environment where they can grow and thrive. So the peas, what I wanted to say about the peas was they're already starting to flower. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully we don't get a bad frost that kills them, but we're going to have some peas to harvest here in a couple weeks as long as we don't get frosted out. We might have to cover this with some blankets, but if it gets risk of freezing really bad. But there's one there that's pretty tall, but the rest of them are kind of about 2.5 feet. But over here, we're up into the 3 feet, 3.5 feet height already. And I had thinned the peas out. I just want to tell a little story. When I planted these peas, it was from year-old or 2-year-old seed that I had never gotten around to planting. That it was just, something I bought at the store one day, and I never planted them because I never got around to it. And so I wasn't sure how the germination was going to be on that old seed, so I kind of seeded it kind of heavy. So I came through with the little snippers, the little trimmers that I had, and just cut right at the base the ones that I wanted to take out when they were maybe 6 inches tall, to kind of thin them to about every 3 to 4 inches for the peas. And if I hadn't have done that, I don't think the growth would have been this good, because again, you get competition for light, because that's the energy source that they're using to put everything together. That's the fuel for this machinery to work. So when you have too much competition, they're planted too closely, they don't grow as well. So these ones especially have done very well. Okay, and then just want to point out the lettuces. These lettuces we started from seed, along with those little lettuces over there. But these ones, because they have so much more sun, are already 4 times the size of those ones. Now,
That's crazy.
let's wait for that helicopter to pass by. Now, there's advantages to having different maturing rates on vegetables. If you have one that's a little slower, that's an advantage because it's going to mature a little bit later.
Which we didn't intend to do that, but it just worked out good that it actually works out, because those ones that she just cut out, we're going to start with those. More likely, we're going to then move to these ones, and then we're going to start moving to harvesting this one. So there's still 3 different stages of growth, which we didn't intend for those to be delayed, but it just happens to work in our favor.
Yes. So, there's lots of notes you can take. And I actually had planted these tomatoes, it was October when we planted them, and it was still quite warm. And I had planted them close to the house so that they wouldn't get too hot in case we had a late hot flash. Okay. Osmond wanted me to show you this big old onion here. This thing is, you can see my hand, this thing is doing very, I'm going to have to come and spoon around these to get to see where the bulbs are at, but they say to get big bulbs you have to kind of dig down to where the bulb forms, and kind of, it's called spooning by a lot of people, and you kind of open up so that the bulb has room to expand.
Okay.
So this side is red onions. You can see it's purple right down here at the base, that purple, and this side is yellow onions. And these were sets that we had bought at the Home Depot. I'm sure somebody's gonna have a comment about never use sets or something like that. This is just what we did.
The sprouts. What's
Yeah.
going on here?
Well,
What are we gonna do here?
hold on. Let's walk over to the Brussels sprouts.
Go.
Okay. So zoom in over here. Look at the stem there. These are the Brussels forming on the Brussels sprouts. Now, oh, this one's really good. Look there.
Let me get close.
Okay. So these are the Brussels sprouts. I had come along and just pulled the leaves off like that, and they form right at the edge of where that leaf was. Don't want to have an incident on camera, but those are the Brussels. So my only problem is that these two back here, well, I wouldn't say my only problem, but one of the problems I've noticed, these two did not kind of grow straight up, so it's been a little bit of an issue because they kind of branched out and did their own thing. So I don't know
Oh, look at them.
really what's going on here. That must be a Brussels there.
Yeah, it is.
It's just not the way that the other ones had formed. So, you know, we live and we learn. This is the first time I've done Brussels sprouts, so you can see there's some little ones there. This is our first experiment with Brussels sprouts, so we'll see. We'll see.
Let us know. Just let us know in your comments the things that you do that work for you guys.
Okay. So we're going to walk over. Oh, wait, let me grab my stuff. We're going to walk over here and show you these other carrots. Oh, look at that. There's some cilantro that you dropped.
Really?
Those are cilantro plants that you dropped the seed for.
Oops.
It's okay. All right. So here we have the short and sweet carrots, and then the Danvers. And this is the one that I planted using the cornstarch slurry mix. And I was really worried because they took 2 weeks to come up. But obviously, they did pretty well. If you just look down the row,
yes,
you can see. I'm going to have to come through and thin these out some because, as we have already discussed, they need it. What I'm going to do next time I do carrots is I'm going to make some homemade seed tape with newspaper. I saw a thing on that, on how to make your own seed tape, where you put a dab of cornstarch slurry as a glue, and then you put the seed there so you can space them out, and then you roll it up, store it for when you're ready, and then you just roll out the newspaper, which the seeds can just grow right through, and it's basically biodegradable. So when I do that, I'm going to do a video, and then we'll see how it works. So maybe we'll do another one this spring to show how we're going to do that, and we'll try it as an experiment and see how well it does for us, and that way we won't have to thin so much, and we can save more seed and plant more rows and do more with less, so to speak.
Let us know what you do to do your carrots from seed, so that you don't have to later on come back and to thin out every 3 inches or so and start pulling some of the carrots. So let us know what you do and what has worked for you.
Okay, so I just want to say we've got half of this bed that it doesn't have anything in it right now because I've got some seeds coming in the mail, and then I've got this whole bed right here that is empty because I have strawberries that are coming in the mail. They will be here in a couple weeks. So hopefully pretty soon this will be planted out, and then we'll be turning over some parts of the beds to plant the next round. So right now I'm going to trim some broccoli. I am going to leave the flowering ones, or the ones that are loose heads, for the bees for now, because it looks like they're enjoying it. Hopefully we don't get a hard frost and doesn't hurt anything too bad, but things are going well right now. We'll probably trim the grapes here in a bit, prune them out. They're basically 1-year-old vines, so we'll prune them a bit so we can kind of shape them.
So this is the update that we have for you guys after 2 weeks that we were gone on our vacation, and we'll hope to see you guys on our next video.